Anybody in this theatre who thinks they might be offended by explicit sexual discussion, please leave the theatre now and come back at the end of my talk. You can't say you weren't warned. I date younger men. They tend to be men in their 20s, and so I have sex with younger men. And through having sex with younger men, I encountered, not with all the men I date, but with a number, what happens when total freedom of access to hardcore pornography online meets our reluctance as a society to talk openly and honestly about sex, and results in porn therefore becoming by default the sex education of today. Not a good thing. So when I realized this nearly 4 years ago, I launched at TED 2009 a website put up on no money, very basic, very clunky, at makelovenotporn.com, that posts the myths of hardcore porn and balances them with the reality. The construct is porn world, real world. This is what happens in the porn world. This is what really happens in the real world. I was very straightforward in my TED talk. As one Twitterer said, it was the first time the words "come on my face" had been heard on the TED stage 6 times in succession. My talk went viral, and the response has been absolutely extraordinary ever since. And the most extraordinary thing, separate from very high traffic to the site from every country in the world with zero promotion from me, has been that every single day for the past nearly 4 years, I get emails to my Make Love Not Porn inbox. And I get them from young people and older people. I get them from men and women. Make Love Not Porn is a gender-equal proposition. Girls watch porn too. They are just as influenced by porn as default sex education as boys. From gay and straight, from all around the world. And what amazes people is the fact that I stood on a stage and talked about, and I'm doing something about what everybody knows and no one ever speaks about. And so people feel able to tell me anything. They pour their hearts out to me on email. They tell me things about their sex lives and their porn-watching habits they've never told anybody else before. And those emails over time began making me feel that I had a responsibility to take Make Love Not Porn forwards in a way that will make it much more far-reaching, helpful, and effective. Make Love Not Porn is not anti-porn. The issue I'm tackling is not porn. I'm tackling the total lack in our society of an open, healthy, honest conversation around sex and porn, which would then enable, amongst many other benefits, people to bring a real-world mindset to the viewing of what is essentially artificial entertainment. Our tagline is pro-sex, pro-porn, pro-knowing the difference. And Make Love Not Porn's entire message boils down to talk about it. And that's because we all get very vulnerable when we get naked. Sexual egos are very fragile. People find it bizarrely difficult to talk about sex with the people they're actually having it with while they're actually having it. Because you are terrified of hurting the other person's feelings, putting them off you, derailing the entire encounter, derailing the entire relationship, but at the same time, you want to please your partner. You want to make them happy. So you'll seize your cues on how to do that from anywhere you can, and if the only cues you have are from porn, then those are the ones you'll take, to not very good effect. So I decided that what I wanted to do was to take every dynamic that exists out there in social media currently and apply them to the one area that no social media network platform has ever gone or will ever dare to go, which is sex. I want to socialize sex and to make real-world sex socially acceptable and therefore just as socially shareable and discussable as anything else that we currently share and discuss on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram. So 11 weeks ago, I and my 2 co-founders, CTO Corey Innes, user experience goddess Uni Chase, we launched in beta MakeLoveNotPorn.tv. MakeLoveNotPorn.tv is a user-generated crowdsourced platform where anybody from anywhere in the world, all of you, can upload and submit videos of yourselves having real-world sex. Having the sex you really have in the real world. And I and my team curate, we review everything. This is not YouPorn, Pornhub, Xtube. We're not porn, we're not amateur, we're real-world sex. What do I mean by that? Well, real-world sex is funny. If you can't laugh at yourselves when you're having sex, when can you? Porn world sex is not funny. Porn has parodies, but the sex name is in deadly earnest. One of the reasons I want to do this is I want to reassure people the same shit happens to all of us. Because we never talk about it. We go, oh my God, that was so excruciatingly embarrassing. I can never speak about this to anybody ever. So, for example, the total nightmare putting the condom on. Guys are always meant to know how to do like magic. Whoosh. As we all know, it does not happen like that. When it doesn't happen like that, things go soft, juices dry up, encounters get derailed. Queefing, fanny farts. Everyone does it, nothing to be ashamed of. We want a category on makelovenotporn.tv that is the sexual equivalent of America's funniest home videos. Because when people film themselves having sex, you never see the outtakes, but there's a market for that. Imagine the sex equivalent of Charlie Bit My Finger, which has now had over 450 million views on YouTube. Imagine the appeal of that in a sex context. So real-world sex is funny. Real-world sex is messy. It always amuses me when people talk about porn as being dirty, because porn actually sanitizes sex. In porn, nobody has hair. You never see anybody using lube, even though they get through gallons of it on set. You never see any of those nice, messy things that happen in real-world sex. So we want categories like period sex. Never see that in porn. And as a result, an unfortunate myth has sprung up for both guys and girls that goes, whoa, can't have sex during a period. Oh, I promise you can. So we invite the hottest, most arousing real-world sex content that is sex during a period. Blood everywhere, no big deal. Take the tampon out with your teeth, whatever turns you on. Real-world sex is responsible. In porn, either there are no condoms, or all of a sudden the condom's on. Jump cut, they're having sex, where did that come from? So we invite the hottest, most arousing real-world sex content that actively competes to eroticize condom usage. What's the hottest, most arousing way you can introduce a condom into the action, put it on, take it off, dispose of it? I have sex with condoms all the time. I want to watch my kind of sex, but I particularly want creative ideas for those awkward condom moments that we all go through. And if more of us had more creative ideas on how to make those awkward condom moments hot and arousing, there'd be a lot more safe sex happening, a lot less STDs, and a lot less unwanted pregnancies. So that's what we mean by real-world sex. And our business model is that we charge you to submit, small token nominal fee. It's the local equivalent of US $5 per submission. That's a curation fee. It's also quality control. That screens out trolls, spammers, crap. Then we charge you to view, not to download because we host and stream, but to rent. So when you click on a video that you like, you pay $5, and you can view it as many times as you like over a 3-week period. You can show it to anybody else who's in your physical vicinity of your laptop or your cell phone. And then we revenue share. We give you, the contributor, the Make Love Not Porn star, as we like to call you, we give you 50% of the revenue that your Make Love Not Porn.tv content generates, which, first of all, is an incentive to you to actually promote it through your network, share it socially, and help do our marketing for us. And secondly, if, as we hope, one day, we hit critical mass, and one day your Make Love Not Porn.tv video could hit the YouTube holy grail of 1 million rentals at $5 per rental, and we give you half of that revenue, you're laughing. This has the potential to be what we like to call the Etsy of sexy. This is where you can create your own cottage industry, doing what comes naturally, the way it comes naturally, which in a recession-torn economy the world over, and we're global, we hope will also be quite an appealing proposition. So what my team and I are doing is we're building a platform and tools to be what we call sexual social currency. We are taking everything that makes Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram so addictive to people and applying it to the one area those guys will never go. We have lots of social features that have social functions. So, for example, you'll be able to curate and put together your own MakeLoveNotPorn.tv playlist, just like you do on iTunes or Spotify. And that playlist might be for solitary usage, so maybe it's a collection of scenes that get you off within 20 seconds every time. But it could also be the sex equivalent of a mixtape. So imagine that you've begun dating this really hot guy or girl. You curate and put together a MakeLoveNotPorn.tv playlist. You send it to them. We have a gifting capability. And because it's us, it's socially okay to do that. And that playlist might just be, here's some really hot stuff to share next time we're together, but it could also be, here's what I'm really into. This is what I would really like you to do to me. This is what would actually really make me come, And by sending this playlist, I don't have to have the actual conversation out loud in words, heaven forbid, because that would be really awkward and embarrassing for both of us. And I can see how you respond, and we can take it from there. Then we have a system of rating and scoring. So you can rate our content holistically, but we also have in-video timeline scoring. We're very interested in which bits of each video you find most hot and compelling. We are data sexuals in a very different way from the way that Pernilla intended originally. This platform has the potential one day to be the Kinsey of today, real-world, real-time, real-life human sexual behavior, aggregated in a way that nobody else is doing. But when it came to designing that in-video timeline scoring system, we had to take account of the fact that, again, it amuses me when people talk about watching porn. Nobody's watching porn, they're wanking. This is not entertainment you watch, it's entertainment you masturbate to. So we had to design an in-video timeline scoring system that's very simple, easy to use, and one-handed. So we have designed our own unit of appreciation. Our version of the Facebook like is the makelovenotporn.tv yes. So you score by going yes, 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 and all you have to do is hit the space bar. You can do it with one hand, you can do it left-handed or right-handed. We have a system of badges and stickers a la Foursquare that reward talents and skills and achievements. So the first time you contribute content, you get the newbie badge. And we are deliberately designing in mechanisms to encourage you to push your sexual boundaries. So the very first time you either view or contribute content outside your normal realm, you get the Explorer badge. And all of this builds up as your sexual profile on makelovenotporn.tv, because sex is personality. Who we are sexually is as much part of how we self-identify and self-express as any other talent, skill, or trait we currently publicly showcase in social media. And by the way, we also have a category where porn stars get to post the sex they have off-camera in the real world. Because porn stars have real-world sex too, which is completely different from the sex they have on camera. Make Love Not Porn has brought to me many people who've reached out saying, love what you're doing, want to help, including, much to my surprise when this first began happening, a lot of people in the porn industry. Specifically, Generation Y in porn. Your generation in porn is like your generation anywhere else. They're entrepreneurial, they're ambitious, they are questioning and challenging the old world order, and they want to be a part of the new. 20-something porn stars and porn directors reached out to me of their own volition, saying, we love this initiative, we want to help. So you'll see on makelovenotporn.tv my friends Danny Wilde and Lily LeBeau, who are 20-something porn stars and a real-life couple, having the sex they really have in their real relationship. My friend Lily Cade, who's a lesbian porn star, having the sex she really has with her real-world girlfriends. All of which goes to demonstrate our point that porn is not real-world sex, and we want people to understand the difference. You have no idea how extraordinarily difficult it has been to make this venture happen. It took me 2 years to get makelovenotporn.tv funded. Very ironic. I should be every venture capitalist and investor's wet dream, literally. I have an idea, enabled by technology, designed to disrupt a sector worth billions of dollars in a way that is both socially beneficial and potentially very, very lucrative. But because that sector is porn, and the social benefit is to sexuality, no VC would come near me. When I finally found an angel investor who got it and put up the seed funding that we needed, I then couldn't get my hands on the money for quite a while because I couldn't find a single bank anywhere that would allow me to open a business banking account for a business that has the word porn in the name. Even though the name of the business is Make Love Not Porn, and even though we have a social mission. And by the way, I still can't. If anybody out there knows anybody who owns a bank and believes in our mission, seriously, I want to hear from them. So, along the way, many very well-meaning people said to me, Cindy, why don't you change the name of your company? Why don't you call it something else that doesn't have the word porn in it? Something really innocuous, be a bit hazy about the nature of a business. It'll make your life so much easier. I refuse to do that. Because when you concept a venture around society's existing biases and prejudices, all you do is reinforce them. You heard Michael Tobin quote earlier today that all progress depends on the unreasonable man. It also depends on the unreasonable woman. I'm utterly unreasonable. I refuse to bow to society's biases and prejudices. I'm out to change them. And so I'm out to achieve the complete opposite of what Pernilla talked to all of you about today. If I and my team achieve what we want to with MakeLoveNotPorn.tv, the ultimate corollary of success, and we are setting out on a monumental task with a monumental goal, but the ultimate corollary of success would be that nobody would ever have to feel ashamed of having a photograph of them naked or a sex tape posted on the internet ever again, because it's simply a natural human part of who we are. And I have to tell you also that although I concepted all of this, and my team have built on it brilliantly, I had no real idea of the power and potential of what we are doing until we began viewing our first content submissions. And by the way, on that, people say to me, seriously, are people actually going to do this? Well, first of all, you are the generation that's grown up video sharing everything. Once upon a time, your marriage proposal used to be a very intimate moment for just the two of you. You wouldn't have dreamed of videoing it and putting it on Facebook. Even less would you have dreamed of constructing an entire flash mob event around it, posting it on YouTube, and hoping to get millions of views. And secondly, think about all of those celebrations of relationships that crop up in your Facebook timeline every day. Think about those engagement announcements, those wedding photos, those lovey-dovey couple things. All we're doing is we're providing a platform to celebrate that last era of human relationships that nobody else will let you. And so, as I say, it wasn't until we began viewing the submissions that we're getting that we really realized the full power and potential of what we're doing. To paraphrase Malcolm Gladwell earlier today, quoting his friend Howard Moskowitz, the mind does not know what the genitals want. I can tell you that real-world sex is more innovative, more creative, more surprising, more amazing than porn will ever be. We're in a private invitation-only beta. That's because we're real-world testing while we build. We launched as what the tech world calls minimum viable product. And so we're testing it out while we add in all the social features I'm talking about. And so in order to join us, you have to go to MakeLoveNotPorn.tv and enter your email address and sign up, and we'll invite you in. And we are only at the very start of this process. But obviously, there are a lot of people out there commenting on it already who have not therefore seen either our site or our content. And so where there are negative critiques in the blogosphere, there's a whole batch of comments that go something like, oh, who wants to see fat, middle-aged people having sex under bad lighting? Well, first of all, that is not at all representative of our content. But secondly, as my co-founder Uni Chase says, isn't that interesting? When did porn become the gold standard? And what all of us do in the real world becomes squalid and disgusting? Isn't that an interesting reversal? What we do in the real world is hotter and more amazing than anything that you will ever see in porn. And as I say, we're only at the start of our journey, but essentially, we can't do it without all of you. We believe that it is possible to change the world through sex. So if you believe in that as well, if you would like to see a more open, honest, healthy, dialogue, discussion, attitude around sex in our society everywhere in the world, then please join us. Please sign up for MakeLoveNotPorn.tv. Please contribute your own real-world sex videos. I am really, really hoping that my own Oxford College, Somervillians, I want you to really rise to the challenge here. Do us proud. And please help us, embark on this journey. Again, you heard Malcolm Gladwell talking about his friend Howard and how he is celebrating the extraordinary diversity of humanity and all the wonderful different things that we know and love and that make every single one of us special. That's exactly what we're doing with MakeLoveNotPorn.tv and real-world sex. We haven't even begun to see what that looks like, how wonderful it is, and what fantastic communication and discussion it can facilitate that will make all of our sex lives and our sex experiences better. So, if you also believe that we can change the world through sex, then please join us at MakeLoveNotPorn.tv and help make it happen. Thank you very much.